So Trump has announced his plan to resolve homelessness in America, and as you can imagine, I have some thoughts about it. I'm going to show you an excerpt of his announcement, and then I'll be back to break down the reasons why I don't believe it.
The homeless have no right to turn every park and sidewalk into a place for them to squat and do drugs. Beautiful city, or at least once beautiful city, because they've changed so much over the last 10 years. We could take care of every homeless veteran in America. Our veterans are being treated horribly. Under my strategy, working with states, we will ban urban camping wherever possible. We will then open up large parcels of inexpensive land, bring in doctors, psychiatrists, social workers, and drug rehab specialists, and create 10 cities where the homeless can be relocated and their problems identified. This is how I will end the scourge of homelessness.
So why don't I believe his plan? Let's start with his claim that homelessness has gotten so much worse in America over the last 10 years. Now, not many of you may know this, but over the last 10 years, Trump was president for 4 of them. And what has he done about it? Absolutely nothing. In fact, even his claim that homelessness has gotten much worse over the last 10 years is inaccurate, because if you look at the official data, homelessness in America grew for each one of the 4 years that he was president, after declining for the 6 previous years in a row. He also tells us that drugs are a contributor to homelessness, and while that's true, he also did nothing about that after promising us that as president, he would tackle the opioid crisis. So much so that in 2019, the National Safety Council determined that for the first time in American history, the odds of dying from accidental opioid overdose was higher than the odds of dying in a car crash. Third reason I don't believe Donald Trump's plan. He tells us that he wants to use inexpensive federal land to create homeless camps. When he was president, Trump had access to a program called the McKinney-Vento Homeless Act that was signed reluctantly by Reagan in 1987, which makes public land available just for this purpose. You can see the act behind me. It had been available since 1987. The Trump administration knew that the program was available because they received and approved some applications. The only problem, in the period between 2017 and 2019, they approved a measly 7 applications. You think that's the end of the problem? The Trump administration also proposed the reversal of the so-called Housing First policies that are designed to offer unconditional housing to homeless people. And statistics show that between 75 and 91% of people that receive housing without condition stay housed. The only problem? Trump is a real estate guy with real estate friends, so he doesn't want homeless people in cities. Trump also proved to us how sympathetic he is to the problem of the homeless when he praised the, to quote him, phenomenal job that the Secret Service did in clearing homelessness near the White House, when he would routinely ask them to immediately remove tents that would cluster near the presidential home. And if that's not enough, the Trump administration and their policies have cut health, housing, and general assistance to the most needy in our country. And finally, in his video, he tells us how mistreated veterans are, and he's right. What he doesn't tell you is that he and his administration pushed for the elimination of the U.S. Interagency Council on Homelessness, which is a program that coordinates states' efforts to combat veteran homelessness. Make no mistake, Trump's promise is a campaign promise to 2 of his main constituents. Those who believe anything that he says without doing any research, who, once again, will be let down, but they won't realize it. And most importantly, it's a campaign promise to those who line his pockets, the real estate magnates who are looking for a cheap way to clean the streets. Because what they and Trump are really looking for is a way to maximize their real estate investment, even if that requires loading up the most vulnerable portion of our society and relocating it to a tent city where I guarantee you they will be forgotten.